Afternoon all, and welcome to the Pre-Zero Arena in Sinsheim. It's Hoffenheim against Borussia Dortmund on Bundesliga match day 30. I'm Matt Blackburn. The home side 6th in the table, 5 points off a Champions League place with only 4 matches remaining. Winless though in 4 and running out of road. Dortmund second, 8 points clear of third, but stung last weekend by a 1-0 home defeat to Leverkusen that ended a 4-match winning run. Two sides who need a response, two very different reasons. Hoffenheim, a remarkable football story. A village club lifted from the 8th tier of German football to the Bundesliga through the investment and conviction of Dietmar Hopp, the billionaire co-founder of SAP. A top-flight fixture for the best part of 2 decades now, with a Champions League campaign to name in 2018. This season, Christian Ilse's side have been a story of Bundesliga top half, 5th, 6th, always in the conversation, and yet as the run-in arrives, the engine has stalled. 2 points from the last 12, a 2-2 draw at Augsburg last week that they might have easily lost, salvaged by Hranak and Toure, and a home defeat to Mainz before that. Their best striker Aslani, 9 league goals. A release clause reported between 25 and 29 million euros is on the radar of every European giant and will be watched today by the man in the opposite dugout, Ondrej Kramaric. 34, 10 league goals, and the club's heartbeat for over a decade. Contract talks stalled, his agent now Pini Zahawi, and Hoffenheim need everything from everyone, and today they need it most. For Borussia Dortmund, one of the great names of European football, 8-time German champions, Champions League winners in 1997, Champions League runners-up as recently as 2 seasons ago, 64 points already in the bag this season. Second place all but mathematically confirms it. On any other weekend you would expect the Westphalians to arrive here as confident favourites, but last Saturday at the Signal Iduna Park, a rare off day. 1-0 to Leverkusen, 1 shot on target. A 4-match winning run brought to an abrupt halt. Niko Kovac, the Croatian former Bayern manager, a man who has won this league before, demanded a reaction, and looking at his team sheet, no wonder if he does have the squad to deliver it. The Dortmund injury list is now extensive, and we shall see when we come to the lineups in a moment that it's forced Kovac's hand in ways that we would have thought unthinkable only a few weeks ago. Christian Ilse's Hoffenheim, then the home side, a switch in shape, a 3-5-2, captain Oliver Baumann in goal, a back three of Bernardo, Kabak and Hadjari, wing-backs Koufal on the right and Toure on the left, and there's your stat. Toure has 8 Bundesliga assists this season, Hoffenheim's top creator. In central midfield, Wutterberger, back from a yellow card suspension, and the 20-year-old Leo Avdelahu with the talisman Ondrej Kramaric in the free role. Up top, Tom Lepel alongside Aslani, the 23-year-old, 9 league goals, and we've mentioned before that release clause that's keeping everybody on guard. For Borussia Dortmund, it's a 3-4-2-1, but Niko Kovac arrives hampered by that extensive injury list and has stripped his team of several first-choice names and seen Guirassy and Brandt only fit for the bench. So Kobal is in goal. A back three of Sule, Slotterberg and Anton. Wing-backs are Julian Ryerson on the right, and Ryerson, who has got 12 Bundesliga assists this season, more than any other defender in Germany, and he partners up on the other side with Daniel Svensson on the left. The central midfield has Marcel Sabater and the 20-year-old Job Bellingham back behind the striker, the Englishman Chuck Wemeka, and the Portuguese Fabio Silva, and leading that line in Guirassy's absence and sitting behind is Boya Beyer as well, with 8 league goals to his name. Referee is Tobias Stieler. I think it's actually Daniel Siebert is the referee for this game. Whoever passed me that one certainly needs to check it. The referee is Daniel Siebert, the very experienced German referee, and one that will likely be going to the World Cup in the summer. We're moments away then from football again in Germany for Hoffenheim. It is all about today. Can they pull out a remarkable result? Can they go back first above Bayer Leverkusen and put some pressure on them before they play this afternoon as well? And can they get themselves 12 points ahead of Frankfurt in 7th to secure that European place with just 4 games remaining after this game week? And we are underway here at the Pre-Zero Arena, and there's already an early chance here for Hoffenheim going down the right hand side, but it's just cleared off the line by Dortmund. An early intent from the home side. It's Kramaric down the right, just found himself in space behind the back line inside 15 seconds, and they've taken the corner kick quickly as well, floated in towards the box, but it's too close to Kobel at his near post. And on a sunny afternoon, it's a bright start for Hoffenheim inside 35 seconds. Hoffenheim going from left to right in this game in that all dark blue strip, and Dortmund in their makeshift away kit of a greyish, bright greyish fluorescent shirt. Tried to say shirt and shorts at the same time. Fluorescent bright yellow shorts and bright yellow socks as well, as Hoffenheim attacking with intent again down the middle of the park, just trying to stretch themselves and work it forward and try to have a little bit of a pop shot, but it's blocked just in front. And we look at what the win probability was before this game. The changes that Dortmund have had to make. Guirassy and Brandt only fit enough for the bench this afternoon, but plenty of players on the bench and a couple that have yet to even make an appearance this season. Alexander May, the backup goalkeeper, and Matthias Albert, the young 18-year-old German, the young academy prospect. As Dortmund send the ball down the right and out for the first goal kick of the afternoon. So 90 seconds in, and it's Hoffenheim who started really lively here on home soil, and as they will as well. They are favourites for this game with those changes, despite being 5 places in the table below Borussia Dortmund. Bayer Leverkusen also playing early in this afternoon. It's just gone 3:30 here local time in Germany. And there's a throw-in on the near side to the home side, but I'll keep you up to date with all those other scores across the league. Werder Bremen and Hamburg are playing as well. Union Berlin against Wolfsburg, and Bayer Leverkusen against Augsburg as well, with implications at both ends of the table. Werder Bremen and Wolfsburg. Wolfsburg really desperate to try and get a result to close down St. Pauli, who sit above them before the start of today, 5 points ahead of them. They played last night and drew out a 1-1 draw at home to Cologne. So it is an opportunity for Wolfsburg to try and find something to avoid going down alongside Heidenheim, who haven't been confirmed relegated yet, but it is really all but confirmed, as Dortmund have the ball in the middle of the park with Bellingham, just stretching his legs towards the right-hand side, links up nicely and plays it into Chukwuemeka. Over towards the right-hand side, return back in towards Chukwuemeka, but he just can't quite sit it down in front of him on the penalty spot, and it's cleared halfway out towards the edge of the area. Bellingham picks it up, shuffles it out towards the right-hand side with a chance to cross it in, floated towards the far side of the box, but just over the head of Bayer at the far post. But it's Dortmund still on the ball, keeping hold of it with Svensson, who brings it back nice in towards Anton, feeds it well in towards the left-hand corner of the area, in towards Bayer, and as he tries to turn on to his right, just runs into a little bit of traffic, which forces Dortmund to go all the way back towards their goalkeeper Kobel, the 29-year-old Swiss goalkeeper, the Swiss number 1. He's an excellent shot stopper, and the goal couldn't do too much about the 4 that Atalanta put past Dortmund in the second leg of the Champions League, which knocked them out a couple of weeks ago. They had a wonderful first leg result, winning 2-0 at home. That 4-1 result was an absolute killer for them. A 98th minute penalty with Ben Sabay, the man giving away the foul and being sent off as well in the process. And then the penalty slopped home for a 4-1 win. It didn't look great after that evening for Dortmund from start to finish. Really, they found themselves back in it around about the 75th minute, as a long ball just goes down the left-hand side for Hoffenheim, just forcing Dortmund to just try and put the foot through it, but then out it goes for a throw into the home side, just trying to apply some pressure down the flanks. When they get hold of the ball, they're just looking to go over the top over the top of the Dortmund defence, which is probably the only area that is rather fixed area in terms of players. Sully has only had about 15 appearances this season. The other two, though, have made up 51 between them as the long throw goes in from the left-hand side. Cleared back out towards the left again towards Berger. Tries to float one towards the far side of the box. Shot comes in and it's off the top of the crossbar from Lepel. It was a wonderful ball, just floated from the left-hand side of the box towards the far right-hand side. Lepel just couldn't quite get hold of it enough. He just got the right boot on it, straight in towards the ground. It bounced over the Dortmund defence and almost into the far corner of the net, but off the top of the crossbar and out for a goal kick. And he just didn't connect it well, but it almost yielded the perfect result. And sometimes we say to players, if they don't hit it perfectly, that's what you want. Sometimes you hit it too sweetly, it doesn't go the way that you would like it to, but on that occasion it almost found the end result. But it's Hoffenheim in these opening 6 minutes who are really challenging that Dortmund back line, who just seem to be struggling to get hold of the ball in their own 50 yards away towards the right hand side, giving it away inside the middle of the park again towards Berger. Inside the centre circle, just moves it across towards the left hand side, and the first free kick of the afternoon will go Borussia Dortmund's way. And for a moment I thought that would have gone to Hoffenheim. It was Kramaric, the man, 15 yards off the far touchline, just had a little bit of a coming together, left his arm up on Sabitzer, who felt the touch and goes down, and the free kick will go Borussia Dortmund's way, who want to slow this down. The early momentum and the early tempo is certainly going the way of the home side, who sense an opportunity this afternoon. They sense Champions League football is still within their grasp. Games are running out, including this week. There's just 5 games to go. And that short run that they've been on, 5 without a win, 2 draws sandwiching 3 losses. But they're not starting this game like a side that has been struggling for form as of late. Come from the 8th tier many years ago now to get into the Bundesliga, thanks to Dietmar Hopp. Semi-finals of the Champions League back in 2018. They don't have any major trophies to their name, but how they would love to be in the Champions League once again next season. You would think that they do have European football confirmed, but it's just about which competition that they will find themselves in. At the moment they're sat in that Conference League place. They're a point behind Bayer Leverkusen in the Europa League place in 5th. The top 4 will make it into the Champions League. Stuttgart occupying that 3rd place alongside Leipzig, who both have 56 points, and those are the 2 sides that Hoffenheim will want to challenge. They've been in and around those top places all season, and now it's just starting to get away from them just a little bit. But if they can get a result today against Dortmund, who have been wonderful this season but haven't had the best of luck with injuries of late, then you never really know what might happen. Dortmund without Emre Can, still out with that cruciate ligament injury. Kabaz out with his ankle injury. Adeyemi also out with a muscle injury as well, and Felix Nemecha. A couple of players returning to the bench this afternoon alongside Branson Guirassy. Hoffenheim, they're also without a couple of key players as well. Gendry, Jozek and Mashida. He's also out with that cruciate ligament injury as well, which I feel we're seeing a little bit more of in today's game. It is a much faster game than we used to see, because Hoffenheim have the ball on the left-hand side, just about keep it in level with their own penalty area, and they win the throw-in as well, rather fortuitously for Toure, who had the ball over on that far side, just slipped underneath his foot. He scrambled across towards the touchline, just about managed to drag it in and find Kramaric a little bit further up the pitch and wins the free kick as well. Long ball goes towards the halfway line, just pumped straight in towards Kramaric in the middle of the park. He manages to somehow chest it down and bring it down to his feet as he moves it away towards the left-hand side. Now switched again back in towards the middle. Thought it might have gone all the way across towards the left. The space just opens up. The pass around the corner, trying to feed it through. And two Dortmund players and the keeper come together as well. It's spilt out by Kobel, who manages to do really well to get back to his feet and gets hold of the ball. But he's going to need a little bit of treatment, I think, here. The ball was just slipped through the gap in the middle. It was Riesen who lost his footing in front of his goalkeeper. And the studs have gone straight in to the Swiss goalkeeper, right into his chest. And you can see the pain that he was in initially. Managed to get back to his feet and get hold of the ball before asking for the referee just to stop the game. That is one he will certainly be feeling. Real coming together. I'll keep you up to date as well with some of the other scores going on around Europe as well. These early kickoffs on the Saturday afternoon. We're coming across to 3 o'clock over in England as well as the mid-afternoon kickoffs across Europe with Udinese and Parma. A 0-0 after 40 minutes in Serie A in Scotland. Dunfermline and Falkirk in the Scottish Cup semi-final have gone into extra time. They're at the 102nd minute. They're not playing out a classic whatsoever. 0-0 in that game. Celtic and St Mirren in this second semi-final played tomorrow. And I think every neutral is hoping for a St Mirren win in that game. So then at least it's going to be somebody new on the trophy. And St Mirren did beat Celtic earlier in the season in another cup final. And Celtic had Nancy in the dugout, and it wasn't the best of situations for them either at that point. As I say, I'll keep you up to date with any of the scores. Still 0-0 in all of the games going around the Bundesliga in these 3:30 kickoffs. And Kobel is back to his feet. He's getting a little bit of support from Anton as well, the 29-year-old German. His 28th appearance this season. The German centre-back joined from Stuttgart. With Kobel, who is commanding inside his area, showed himself there and he's back to his feet. And the Dortmund fans who have packed out that far left corner as we sit are making an absolute racket and getting behind their goalkeeper as well, who is back to his feet. One of Europe's elite shot stoppers. And after a minute or so, we're ready to get ourselves back underway as Wolfsburg has taken a big stride to potential safety, scoring against Union Berlin, and Bayer Leverkusen, an impact on this game, are leading at home to Augsburg by a 1-0 as well, as Dortmund have the ball over in the far right-hand channel, trying to whip it in towards the 6-yard box, almost found its way through, and then the header and the opportunity was there for Bayer for Svensson coming in from the near side. It was Bayer who flicked it around the corner. It was a wonderful run. Riesen kept himself onside, tried to feed it in nicely to Chukwuemeka, couldn't quite get the touch. It then bounced all the way through towards Svensson coming up into the 6-yard box, but he couldn't keep his header down. But a real opportunity for the away side. As Hoffenheim have a throw in halfway inside the Dortmund half. Wolfsburg, we mentioned, leading 1-0 on the road. Wimmer with the goal in that game, and for Leverkusen it was Schick, the man who has given the home side the lead, which does alter proceedings and how the fans in this ground might react as well to that goal. It gives Bayer Leverkusen, we stand a 3-point gap, but the long throw comes towards the 6-yard box. It just bounces higher than Bob Marley inside the area, but it's cleared on the second attempt. Only as far out as Hajdari, who takes one touch and tries to unleash an absolute thunderbolt, but it's blocked by the first man, and the clearance goes all the way in towards the Hoffenheim half and requires Avdallahu to retreat back to get hold of the ball. There was nobody behind him. He was fortunate that he was the last man and there was nobody up there in that bright fluorescent Dortmund kit, and it is rather catching on the eye is that Dortmund kit. Thankfully there's no floodlights on because they would be blinding absolutely everybody. The long ball floated in towards the far side, looking for the run of Touré into the box, but it's just over his head, and he did well to read where the ball was going to go. But he's got two Dortmund players for company. Feeds it towards the left-hand corner there towards Avdallahu. Comes back in towards Berger, who just opens up the space and feeds it down the left-hand side in towards Aslani. But his first touch is taken off his toes by Sule, who just clears it out towards the far side for a throw-in to Hoffenheim, who continue to try and apply some pressure. It's been an exciting opening 15 minutes in this game as Hoffenheim really want to get a result out of it. They've started with plenty of intent, and Dortmund know that they just want to sit back and just weather the storm a little bit. Dortmund, who their fans have occupied plenty of this ground as well. They have the corner away to the far left-hand side, but just little dots of Dortmund kits just dotting around the Hoffenheim stands. And is one thing we do see across Europe, which is a good thing, is the mixing of fans. And as Dortmund win a free kick just inside the Hoffenheim half as a late challenge just came in from Berger, who's been all over that midfield line. But another impact in the Bayer Leverkusen game as Augsburg have equalised against the hosts over there. So Bayer Leverkusen's lead cut out rather quickly by Augsburg, and parity restored over in Leverkusen. Plenty of football, plenty of action. Kabak looks to go long towards the left-hand side. It's an excellent ball towards Toure. Tries to feed it back towards the edge of the area, looking for the run of the Pearl. But the offside flag goes up over on the far side against Toure from the initial long ball. But it was like a good run from the angle where I was. But I think on replay it actually was a couple of yards offside, which is why we allow linesmen at least to try and keep up with the play. And in the modern game, it does become a little bit more difficult, especially in the free-flowing football that we are seeing across Europe. We won't talk about the paltry football that gets displayed over in the Premier League over the course of the last season. There's Arsenal trying to win the Premier League this season for the first time, playing anti-football more than anything if you are an Englishman. Maybe that's just me being a little bit grumpy. My team, Rotherham, got relegated last weekend to the 4th division of English football. But here in Hoffenheim, they've seen themselves in the 8th tier before, and look where they are now. They show that with the right owners, with astute signings, spending more than they really need to, Hoffenheim, they have the money to be able to challenge with those at the very top. And they have a good model here, as do a lot of German sides. And in this wonderful pre-zero arena in Sinsheim, a village club that's just grown and grown and grown as a long ball goes down the right-hand side, looking for the run of Kufal, but he just goes into the back of Sabitzer, who gets himself across and gets the foul out of it as well for Dortmund, and they're in no rush to get themselves back onto their feet. They know they're under a little bit of pressure early on in this game as well over in Ligue 2 in France. Reims and Red Star. It's Reims leading by 2-1, and Troyes coming to the very end of those games, leading by a 1-0 against Boulogne in that game as well over in Norway. Their season began just a couple of weeks ago. Bodo Glimt, who was everyone's darling in the Champions League until it all came crashing down against Sporting, leading by 2-0 against Alesund. They have already drawn and lost a game in their opening 3 fixtures of the Norwegian League. And the other 0-0, Werder Bremen and Hamburg. Still 0-0 over there. But it's Hoffenheim controlling the ball, setting the tempo early doors in this fixture. Inside the centre circle with Kabak. Moves it across towards Bernardo, who has been rather quiet, doing sort of that unseen work. Feeds it down the right in towards Kufal, who's just striding and just hugging this near side touchline, but brings it back in towards Avdelahu to find a bit of space. Back out towards Kabak, who's now made his way a little bit further upfield. Najari in the centre circle, joined in by Toure across towards the left-hand side, and the shape has just been lost there from Hoffenheim a little bit, and Dortmund not giving an inch inside their own half either, and they'll have to retreat back towards their goalkeeper, Bormann, the 35-year-old experienced captain. He's been a decade at the club. He had a surprise Germany international call-up this season as well. He's brave off his line. He's got the experience that you really need at times in a goal, especially when you are challenging at the right end of the table. Christian Itza trying to get his side into the Champions League. He's never won against Borussia Dortmund. 1 draw, 3 defeats from the 4 times they have played. As Dortmund try and bounce back from that rare slip, just 1 shot on target against Bayer Leverkusen, which Hoffenheim certainly weren't happy with as well. So they're trying to get their payback today. As nice ball goes through behind the back line, and it forces Kobel to come racing off his line, sends it long in towards the Hoffenheim half, but once again they're just playing the balls over the top, finding the space behind the Dortmund back line. They just don't quite have the speed in those key areas in the opening 21 minutes of this game. As a nice ball goes over the top, looking for Bayer down the left-hand side. He's just shrugged off the ball, and it goes out for a throw-in. I think Kufal will have won a free kick as well. The referee was pointing onto the pitch as Bayer just gave him a little bit of a shove as they bit of a coming together with Kufal, just getting himself between man and ball. It's Kramaric has the ball. He's in a last European push for him. It's the twilight of his career. We mentioned the contract talks stalled before the game. It's big afternoons like this that can make the most. Of a career. If they manage to get into the Champions League, you never know. He may stay 1 more season. It's the 39th meeting between both of these 2 sides, as the game has just become a little bit timid and tame over the last couple of minutes or so, with both sides just trying to lift it over the top, trying to catch each other off guard, but both being a little bit more wise to it than they were in the opening couple of minutes of the game. Dortmund 19 wins from the previous 38, Hoffenheim with 8. And Dortmund winning the last 2 contests between these 2 sides. And they have the ball 10 yards inside their own half with Anton. Moves it a little bit forward in towards Bellingham, shifts it across towards the right hand side. Does the brother of Jude Bellingham. Very likely, it's probably a conversation up for debate more than anything. And he's in this Dortmund side because of his brother more than anything else. Would he have been picked by Dortmund if they didn't have the likes of Jude Bellingham? Wonderful player as Joe Bellingham just gives the free kick away against Kramaric on this near side, just inside the Hoffenheim half. The ball just goes over the top looking for the run of Lepel, but it's excellent defending from Anton, who read the quick free kick well and intercepted it. And he's not a bad player, Joe Bellingham. He doesn't have some of the attributes that we've seen over the many years that Dortmund have had some wonderful sides in this German league. They haven't won the German title since 2012. They've had some incredible partnerships, and they had Lewandowski, Royce and Götze all playing together. What a front three partnership that was. And it's still 0-0 between these 2 sides. Riersen is looking to try and get a cross in towards the box, and these 2 sides, he's had more crosses than anybody else. 95, just 2 ahead of Kufal's 93. Then next comes Toure on 84 in putting crosses in. It's what Hoffenheim have done ever so well, feeding it in towards Aslani and Lepel from those wing-back rolls as it's back in towards the middle again towards Hajari. Tries to look again over the top towards the left-hand side towards Toure, who's getting in nicely behind Riersen, who does almost ever so well. But what recovery work that is from Riersen at the back. The 28-year-old Norwegian in his 28th game of the season, 12 assists to his name, but doing the defensive duty as well. Feeds it across towards the box as well, down the right-hand side. Looking to put it in is Sule, but it's just missed by Bayer once again. He's getting himself inside the box, but just running a little bit too late more than anything. And it all started with Riersen winning it back over on the left-hand channel, deep inside his own half, feeding it through. Lovely interchange down that right-hand side between Sabitzer and Sule, who linked up nicely, just looking for the run. of Bayer inside the box. But cut out really, really well. Once again, just put into that corridor of uncertainty between the last defender of Kabak and Baumann. Both of them saw the danger come across. Kabak got himself in front of Bayer just to put him off enough. I don't think Baumann really wanted to go anywhere near that, just in case, as he flashed across the goal and out for a throw on the near side. But 25 minutes gone into this game. It's been a good game so far, 0-0 between both of these two sides. Dortmund scored 5 in the last 2 against Hoffenheim. The last result came back in December, that 2-0 win in Dortmund as it's fed in towards the area. It is shut down towards the left, but it's a good save by Kobel. It was a wonderful ball across towards the left-hand side towards Kramaric, who just tried to stab at it. It was Kufal, just dinked it over the top. Kramaric was there behind Schlottenbeck. Sabitzer was there as well, just over the top of the head of both of them. Kramaric just couldn't quite get the power behind it. He got the accuracy, but he just couldn't quite get the power to go past Kobel, who gets down towards his right-hand side. But Hoffenheim have been testing the goalkeeper inside this opening first half. And Schlottenbeck, who scored in that game the last time these two sides met, just getting caught out at the back, as did Sabitzer. But it's Hoffenheim starting really well, but doing the defensive work deep inside their own half as well, as it's down the left-hand side in towards Silva, who just taken out off the ball as well by Bernardo, who puts it out for a throw. And the referee says he's won the ball, and I think he's got that decision right as well. It looked like a good, strong challenge coming in deep inside his own territory, but it's going to be an opportunity to get the long throw, something that we have seen back into football over the last season or so, as it's floated in towards the area, and it can't be dealt with by Hoffenheim, and out for a corner kick. And it's the first of the afternoon for Borussia Dortmund, who still have title hopes of their own. Coming into this game, 12 points behind Bayern Munich. They certainly won't win the league, but they certainly won't want to go down without a complete whimper this season. They really have tried to challenge as much as possible against Bayern, who've lost just one game all season, drawn 24 of their 29. As the corner kick's going to come in from this near side. The 6 inside the 6-yard box, put towards the far side of the area, but Baumann meets it really well and punches it away towards a left-hand channel. Picked up nicely though by Bayer, who just shrugs off the challenge of Toure and sees it out for a throw-in, which will allow another opportunity for the away side to get the ball into the box. And Baumann's just feeling the left side of his face in his penalty area, as that corner kick did come in. He certainly felt it from Rierson's ball in. It was a good ball in. Well, Baumann met it well, got himself through the traffic, and just put his fist through it and out for a throw-in over on the far side. Long ball then to be swung towards the area, flicked on nicely by Anton, but it's straight into the hands of Baumann, and that's meat and drink for the goalkeeper. He had to be alert inside his box. It was an excellent ball in. Anton just peeled off his man, just got the flick on. So far, it's been an interesting contest between both of these two sides, and once again, getting in towards the area is Lepel. Just can't quite get past his man, but he's going to win. He's going to get a goal kick. I thought he was going to win a corner kick from that instance, and Daniel Siebert, the referee, was asking him just to calm down a little bit as he got inside the area, and I think he might have a point though. Lempel, he took it down beautifully, and then as Anton came across, he picked both the legs of Lempel and also the ball as well. I think the referee linking up with his assistant both gave the goal kick, but it's a really difficult one to see. And where the referee was is about 15-20 yards off the play towards the middle of the pitch, as Lempel was on the right hand side of the box and just cut out really the view by Anton, who came across sharpish to just take it off the heels of the young 24-year-old German. 7 goals to his name this season. He's sharp in those transition phases, makes those intelligent runs as we've just seen there. Excellent first touch. As in the other games, we'll keep you up to date with those as well when the goals do go in. Still 1-1 between Leverkusen and Augsburg. The cross comes from the right hand side again from Hoffenheim, but cleared out towards the edge of the area, and then the foul given away by Bernardo, who's just switched sides temporarily. And through the protestations of Berger, he finds himself the first man into Daniel Siebert's book of the afternoon. The referee is a no-nonsense referee, Daniel Siebert. He certainly likes to be involved in games, makes an impact as well. And the frustration, you can see it from Christian Lutze, the Hoffenheim coach, on the near side, screaming at Berger to keep his mouth closed. It's a rather foolish yellow card to give away as Wolfsburg still lead by goal to nil against Union Berlin, and Werder Bremen Hamburg is as you were. The free kick just skips all the way through, but read really well by Baumann. Hajari wasn't quite sure where that ball was going to bounce for the moment. The goalkeeper just picked it up on the edge of his area and allowed it just to bounce inside before getting hold of it with the gloves. But it's inside the box as well, living dangerously though Hoffenheim on the edge of their own box now. They'll move it towards the right hand side towards Bernardo, who just about escapes the pressure. Back though again in towards Abdullahu. Dortmund pressing high up the pitch. Played towards the left hand side by Baumann towards Hajari with a bit more space for him to run into. Swings it from left to right looking for Kufau. Just gets the header down in towards Lepel, who takes it on the knee but can't quite get the touch in, and it's just taken from behind him by Sule and out for a throw in halfway inside the Dortmund half on this near side. And there's plenty of games that will be going ahead as well now at 4 o'clock local time across Europe. We'll keep you up to date with how those games are going to impact various situations across the leagues. In the Premier League, Leeds and Wolverhampton Wanderers have just started as of Newcastle against Bournemouth after Brentford and Fulham shared out a rather boring 0-0 draw in the early afternoon kickoff over in the Premier League. Chelsea play Man United later tonight, but the one that everyone's got an eye on is the Tottenham Hotspur Brighton game that kicks off at 6:30 here local time, 5:30 over in the UK. Everyone hoping Brighton can win. We'd all like to see Tottenham in the Championship. Unless you are a Tottenham fan, then I do apologise for the entirety of a country wanting to see a bigger side such as that. It would be the biggest side that would be in the second division for quite some time. Newcastle only one that could really remember, but they're not really on the same level as a European Cup winner. Dortmund nicely played down the right hand side, trying to get it in towards the box, just flicked over the top, and it just fortuitously goes away from Riesen, who just held his run for a moment. It took a bobble in front of the Hoffenheim defender on the left-hand side of Kabak, just managed to get something on it, and as he did, it just went over the top of the head of Riesen, who was coming in to try and tuck that one home, but it's still 0-0. 11 minutes to go then before half-time. Over in England as well, Leicester City, the former Premier League winners back in the 2016 season, well, they lost again this afternoon to Portsmouth, and if West Bromwich Albion get a result against Preston, it could well be the third tier for them, as they are having financial issues from the time of overspending inside the Premier League as well. In the Scottish Cup, it looks like it's going to go to penalties between Dunfermline and Falkirk as well. In the 121st minute in that game, as Kufal whips one in towards the box, but it's dealt with beautifully by Schlotterbeck at the back. Then on the second attempt, it's a little bit poor though from Riesen, who can't quite get his foot through, and it goes out the wrong way for a corner kick to Hoffenheim, who try to apply some pressure on this Dortmund back line. 10 minutes to go before half time. We've got the Frankfurt RB Leipzig game as well coming up this evening at 6:30. It's another game that has implication that both sides. Hoffenheim would love to just give themselves a 12-point gap to Frankfurt. 9-point gap should still really be enough. But you want to have the points on the board. As Kufal moves over to take the corner kick, the second of the afternoon. This one he put in towards the box, played towards the edge of the 6-yard box. Looks like a push in the back of a Dortmund man, but the referee happy to allow play on, but Dortmund will come away with the ball. Bellingham linking up well with Chukwuemeka, just shrugs off one, and now the counter-attack really is on. Fends it towards the left-hand side, towards Bellingham. Strides in towards the area, but still a little bit too far. Toure trying to do some defensive work. Bellingham takes it back onto his left, shuffles it on to his right, lays it towards the edge of the area. There's a chance. Feels like it's gone for the moment, though. It's shifted across in towards Svensson. Floats it towards the far side, but it goes over the top of everyone and bounces kindly for Baumann. And for Dortmund, it was wonderful counter-attacking football, linking up well between Bellingham and Chukwuemeka. Then the pass from Chukwuemeka just a little bit too far for Bellingham. He doesn't quite have the pace as Joe Bellingham to get hold of that ball quickly enough. If he had an extra stride in him, he would have been able to take it in his step, push it in towards the area. And then get his shot away, but by the time he got hold of the ball, it allowed Toure to come back inside his box and just put off the Englishman from getting a shot away. And then the opportunity really was gone, but it's still Dortmund on the ball. Over on the far side, trying to feed their way in towards the Hoffenheim box, but excellent work on the edge of their own area by Bernardo and Hadjari. Nicely moved in towards now the Dortmund half. The space on his right-hand side, if it can be fed in towards Kramaric. Space opens up for him, going to drive towards the edge of the area. He takes on his left, goes for goal, but it takes a deflection on the way through, and it's comfortable for the goalkeeper to come off his line. And Kramaric did ever so well, just picked it up on the right-hand side, and he immediately started drive more centrally, and it was Sule, the man, who stuck with him. Svensson beaten on the near side. Sule kept on going, and he actually slipped in front of Kramaric as it bounced off his elbow more than anything on the deck and kindly in towards the goalkeeper's hand, but he's just feeling it a little bit, Sule, as well, as he went down rather uncomfortably, and it was a bit difficult and unfortunate for Kramaric on that occasion, done by a player slipping in front of him more than anything. But the best opportunity did come to Kramaric earlier on in the half when it was just floated over the top, trying to hit it on the volley down in towards the bottom right-hand corner, forcing Kobel into a save. And to say it is a 0-0 game. It has been a more than interesting enough contest, to say the least. But we will have a stoppage in play, and I think that will be the end of Sule's afternoon. And the defensive and the injury woes for Borussia Dortmund going from bad to worse as this season starts to come to a close. It's Sule, the man. He slipped rather uncomfortably inside the area. His left leg went well out in front of him. The referee making his way over as well to the near touchline. And is he having a look at whether, when Sule went down, we said it hit his elbow as he went down, and the referee, Daniel Siebert, is going to have a look, and he may have to be stretching off here, Sule, but he may also have given a penalty away, injuring himself inside the box, slipping in the area. His elbow was up. It's really harsh if it is given. There's nothing he could have done about it. He lost his footing on the pitch. His elbow was up, and the referee, Daniel Siebert, he takes one look. He's actually going to have another look as well. He's not the most confident in this decision, is Daniel Siebert. He's had a couple of chances to have a look at whether this could be a penalty for Hoffenheim, and I wasn't really too sure whether a decision would be made about it, simply because Niklas Sule slipped. He's injured himself in the process. He's gone down. At what point do you give benefit of the doubt to the player? But it's going to be a penalty to Hoffenheim. Hadjari celebrates in front of the referee with 5 minutes to go before the half. Sule is back on his feet. He makes his way off. He's going to be taken off. His afternoon's over. But his last action of the afternoon was slipping, injuring himself and giving a penalty away in the process. But what impact could this have on the Bundesliga season at the top of the table, with Hoffenheim chasing those Champions League places? Werder Bremen lead against Hamburg 5 minutes before the end of the first half. Kramaric has the ball in his hand. Kobel wanting to get on with this penalty. The Dortmund manager, Niko Kovac, having a word with the fourth official. And Kramaric will step up for this one. 10 league goals to his name this season for the Croatian talisman. Kobel falls back into his goal. Taking his time is the goalkeeper to get in back onto his goal line. They've scored 4 from the penalty spot this season. Can Kramaric make it 5 from 5? Dortmund have conceded every penalty they face as well. 3 from 3. The stats say this will go in from Kramaric. Right-footed, steps up, it's gone in the back of the net and Hoffenheim lead. And I thought for a moment Kobel went the right way. It looked like he was just going to palm it out, but he's just gone through his hands and into the bottom left-hand corner. And Hoffenheim lead here at the Pre-Zero Arena by a goal to 0. And the man that won the penalty stepped up and put it into the bottom left-hand corner. And the Croatian, he didn't look the most confident taking that. The goalkeeper Kobel guessed the right way. He stuck out a big right hand, but couldn't get close enough. And Kramaric wheels away in celebration. It's Hoffenheim 1, Dortmund 0, 3 minutes before half-time. And that makes a huge impact as this season starts to wind down and Hoffenheim move themselves above Bayer Leverkusen as it stands. And they lead at home by a goal to 0. The sub's been made with Soulé coming off and Ben Zabani making his way on. The 30-year-old Algerian, he can play either left side of centre-back, left wing-back as well. Comfortable on the ball, but he's already made a huge impact on the Dortmund season. This season, giving that penalty away against Atalanta in the 98th minute of the Champions League, which saw the end of Dortmund's Champions League foray. But it's Hoffenheim who are chasing their own Champions League dreams. Hamburg have equalised against Werder Bremen in that game as well. Hamburg comfortable in mid-table. Werder Bremen sitting a little bit too close to the bottom 3 for their liking. They've got a 3-point gap to St. Pauli. It's a free hit really for them more than anything else. And Hoffenheim looking to try and get a second right on the end of the first half, but it comes out to Koufal on the right, and he has scored 1 or 2 great goals on the angle, but on this occasion his shot just goes high, wide and not very handsome. And we said before, when Kramaric had that shot and Sully went down, it came off his elbow. And for a moment there was no real indication of the referee having a conversation in his ear. All eyes were really on Sully in the box. He went down rather awkwardly in his area. Well, the referee happy that it impacted the strike from Kramaric, and Hoffenheim with 60 seconds to go before half-time lead by a goal to 0 here on home soil. It is Hoffenheim who have the first half breakthrough, and rightly so as well. It was a quality finish into the left-hand corner of the goal. But they've been the better side in this first half, rather expected before this game, with the amount of changes Dortmund have had to make due to injuries. first half. It has been with real quality and real intent from Hoffenheim. You wouldn't have thought that they hadn't had a result in their last 5 games. They've won one of just the last 7 as well, as it's back in towards the area from the long throw from Kufal. Coming up towards the 45-minute mark, we'll see how much time the fourth official will add on as Kufal's cross is blocked on the near side by Baer and then just hooked away towards Hajari. His header, though, a little bit more of a hospital ball towards Abdullah, who just about gets there, and there will be 6 minutes added on at the end of this first half. The penalty itself probably occupying about 2 or 3 of those minutes, with Sule being down injured. There's been a couple of other small stoppages along the way as well, but Dortmund have the ball inside the Hoffenheim half, moving across towards the left-hand side towards Baer, who's probably been Dortmund's best player inside the opening 45 minutes or so, but on this occasion just gives the ball away. It's hacked away towards the halfway line. One beautiful over by Slotterbeck, who brings it in towards the centre circle. Crowded out though by 3 and almost given away, but beautifully done again by Ben Sabani, just to wriggle free with Anton and move it across towards the right hand side towards Sabitzer, who is occupying that right hand centre half position where Sule was occupying, as he makes his way down the right hand side with a free kick as well in a dangerous position. Over on the right hand side, Toure just got himself all in a muddle, got behind Sabitzer, tried to climb on his back more than anything, wanted to get inside his shirt, and in doing so just pushes him down to the ground right in front of the Dortmund fans over in that far left hand corner with 4 minutes of injury time to play. Dortmund have a perfect opportunity to cross the ball into the box from the far side, and Rierson, who has an excellent ball from a dead piece, 12 assists to his name, whips it in towards the middle of the goal when it's headed back out towards the edge of the area, picked up by Bellingham though, who just turns it onto his right hand side, plays it back in towards Sabitzer, who moves it towards Rierson again. He's got one to try and beat to get a ball in towards the air, but Kramaric, the goal scorer, just holding on to enough for him to play it back towards Sabitzer, 10 yards inside the Hoffenheim half over on that far side. Linking up well then with Chukwuemeka. Tries to dance away from 3 and then feeds it across wonderfully in towards the path with Ben Sabani on this near left-hand side. Lays it again in towards Bellingham, and it's a horrible ball by Ben Sabani. Bellingham does ever so well to get there ahead of Toure and wins it back nicely in towards the path of Silva. Dortmund having a good spell of possession since that goal from Hoffenheim, trying to get something at the end of this first half. Rierson runs into trouble and has to come back again towards Sabitzer. They'll retreat back once more towards the halfway line, and his back line for Hoffenheim is staying strong. They move it again towards the right hand side in towards Rierson, the outlet that they've really been looking for. Feeds it again down towards Sabitzer, who continues his run this time, but his cross is blocked by the first man. Berger over on that far side, and out for a throw. 3 minutes then to go before half time. It's been an excellent first half between both of these two sides, but Dortmund trailing on the road, but they have the long throw, trying to whip it in towards the area. It's headed out nicely by Bernardo towards the far side, and Sabitzer again this time can't quite get his touch onto it, and it goes out for a throw, and a bit of a reprieve for Hoffenheim, who've been under pressure for a moment or so as Leeds take the lead at home against Wolverhampton Wanderers, as they look to get their own safety secure in the Premier League for another season. Coventry City were promoted last night to the Premier League for the first time in 25 years since they were relegated back in 2001. They've been down to the 4th tier of English football and back again. They've played in front of 3,000 fans, but they had 7,000 away fans last night. It always tends to happen, the fans return when the side does well, and sometimes you can't blame them. It isn't that always enjoyable watching your side get absolutely battered week in, week out, getting relegated from the Premier League to the 4th tier. My side, Rotherham, been relegated 2 seasons out of the last 3, and it's certainly not enjoyable. They've also been relegated 5 times in the last 12 and been promoted 5 times in that period as well, so it's a little bit of swings and roundabouts, if you will. You can enjoy it. The good, the rough from the smooth, the good from the bad. But it's Dortmund here who have had some excellent points this season. And Leeds have taken a 2-0 lead 2 goals in 2 minutes there against Wolverhampton Wanderers. They also found themselves in the 3rd tier at one point of English football. The former Champions League semi-finalists back in the early 2000s. As Kufau just tries to flick it over the top nicely in towards the path of Lepel, but his first touch is a little bit too strong in front of him, but it was then picked up by Aslani, who's been rather quiet in this opening half, and he's going to win a free kick off Schlottenbeck on the halfway line. 60 seconds then to go before half-time in this game. Which way will this contest go? It's Hoffenheim challenging for that top 4 place still. Borussia Dortmund know that they're in the Champions League for another season. At least they dropped out of it rather embarrassingly against Atalanta with that 4-1 loss on the road. The Atalanta not the same side really that they were a few years ago, where they were scoring for fun. As they have the ball over on the far side, a strong tackle goes in from Torre, and the linesman does get his flag up. It'll likely be the last action of the game. Riasson has gone into over on that far side. It was Bernardo, who went in. He won the ball, did Bernardo, but he also went in rather strongly. And his leg just took the legs of Riasson as well. And that is the last action of the first half here. It's Hoffenheim who have been the much better side in this opening 45. It didn't take much time for the game to get going. Inside the opening 20 seconds, they found themselves in behind the back line. Kramaric and Lepel linking up nicely, with the latter trying to get a strike away before being blocked on the line. It then looked like Hoffenheim we're going to continue to attack down either of the flanks. Dortmund kept putting some balls in towards the box, but then the deadlock was broken 5 minutes before the end of half-time. Kramaric found himself in space on the right-hand side, drove towards the edge of the area. Sule went down inside the box. He's gone off injured because he lost his footing, but in doing so, when Kramaric unleashed his strike, it came off his elbow, and Daniel Siebert, the referee, took a few looks at the monitor before deciding it was a penalty, and the man that won the penalty stepped up and put it into the bottom left-hand corner. At half-time, it's Hoffenheim chasing Champions League 1, Dortmund, whose title hopes are all but gone, 0. second half here at the Pre-Zero Arena in Sinsheim. It's Hoffenheim who lead by a goal to nil, thanks to that penalty at the end of the first half by Kramaric, the 34-year-old Croatian, and his 11th league goal of the season. Hoffenheim chasing those Champions League places, currently sitting in a Europa League place as it stands, leading at home to Borussia Dortmund. Christian Itza hasn't won in his 4 games so far against Borussia Dortmund, the man who won the Austrian Bundesliga with Sturm Graz in 2024 before making the move over to Hoffenheim. Currently getting one over the Croatian Niko Kovac, who won the Bundesliga and the Deutsche Pokal as Bayern manager back in 2019. He's been in the job now for just over a year at Dortmund and challenged well with Bayern at the top of the table, put a little bit of pressure on them for a good portion of the season. Looking like it's going to be Bayern's season this year at the top, but the rest of those places still need to be decided. Dortmund look like they got second pretty much wrapped up, but you never know for the rest of those Champions League places. We're back underway here at the Pre-Zero Arena as Dortmund going from left to right, trying to tack down early inside the opening 30 seconds. Reason slips it in nicely behind the back line, looking for the run, wonderfully in towards Silva, but he's just run out of space and just pushed away on it by Kabak. Wonderful defending, but early attacking intent at the start of the second half by Borussia Dortmund, who really are showing why they were second, or why they are second in the table. Hoffenheim have lost the last 7 against Dortmund, with Dortmund winning the last 2 meetings. And Dortmund will also sense an opportunity here at the Pre-Zero Arena, with Hoffenheim losing 2 and drawing 1 of their last 3 games on home soil. But it's the home side who currently lead from that goal, from the penalty from Kramaric, as a ball from Reerson, just chested down nicely and confidently by Kufal in towards the big German goalkeeper Bormann. Looks to go long down the right-hand side for the run of Lempel, who gets there ahead. He did temporarily get there ahead of Schlottenbeck first, who managed to just put himself between man and ball and win it back ever so well. Just shrugged and worked his way in behind that ball over the top from Lempel. He's over in England. Leeds leading with 5 minutes to go in the first half against Wolverhampton, wins by 2 goals to nil. Bournemouth leading against Newcastle by a goal to nil as well. And in the rest of those Bundesliga games, the half times by Leverkusen and Augsburg 1-1 as a attempt comes in from the far left hand side for Dortmund, and they're going to win a corner kick. I think the linesman's flag has actually gone up on this near side instead. Inside 2.5 minutes of reprieve there for Hoffenheim at the start of this second half, and Wolfsburg, well, they're doing everything that they can at the bottom of the Bundesliga table. They lead by 2 goals to nil against Union Berlin right at the start of the second half. Petjanovic, the man to double the advantage for those in green. And Werder Bremen and Hamburg is 1-1. I'll keep you up to date with those scores over in Serie A. Parma leading us Udinese with 10 minutes to play. And in that Scottish Cup game, second division side Dunfermline beat top tier side Falkirk on penalties 4-2, and they'll face either Celtic or St Mirren in the Scottish Cup final. But down the left hand side, and it's Dortmund who come once again, and this time they will win the corner kick over on the far side, and they've got their tails up in this game. Have Dortmund at the start of this second half, 3 minutes gone. They're in the ascendancy early on. Niko Kovac has clearly asked for them to have a little bit more of a reaction to that first half performance. It wasn't the worst first half performance, but it just didn't threaten Baumann in the goal enough. So it's going to be taken by Reerson over on the far side. The runners go towards the near post, 4 of them. In fact, it's played towards the far side, and it's towards Chukwuemeka, but he can't quite get his head on, and it's just cleared out towards Toure. One back, though, nicely by Bellingham, but given away inside the middle of the park. He's going to have to do some defensive work. It's 4-on-3 if they can get the ball towards the left-hand side. But what a tackle that is by Anton, deep inside his own half as last man. And now Dortmund will come up the other end with the counter-attack. Played towards the left corner of the box. Tried to play it across towards the penalty area, but a good interception again. And Hoffenheim alert to it as the long ball goes out towards Lempel. But it's Schlottenbeck, the man who is there to win it back again. One of the interesting games that is taking place over in England this evening. It takes place at 6:30 here local time, as two games between Braintree, Rochdale and York City against Yeovil in the 5th tier, known as non-league football. Has got interchange play from Dortmund on the edge of the Hoffenheim area. Can't quite yield anything, but it almost just breaks down the left-hand side looking towards Svensson, but Kufal is there just to clean up and sends it towards the halfway line. And those two sides both on over 100 points. Only one side wins the league, and the other will go into the playoffs and plays against a side 30 points worse off them this season. There's a lot of advocacy going in and around English football to try and get a second automatic promotion spot going forward in that division, but it's not really wanted by sides that are in the Football League, simply because it adds a threat that you'll go into a league that does occupy some part-time sides in the 5th tier of football. But the majority of them are starting to become more full-time, which is always great to see. But it's Dortmund 5 minutes into this second half that are really going at this Hoffenheim back line. They've got another long throw level with the edge of the 6-yard box over on that far left-hand side. It's played in and knocked down in towards Chukwuemeka. Goes down inside the area. The referee waves play on, and Hoffenheim clear the lines and get it away towards Kobel. Away to the left-hand side, but those in fluorescent yellow and that grey top of Dortmund into the ascendancy at the start of this second half. Another lofted ball looking towards the edge of the area. Jarek managed to get there first, but it then just kindly falls in towards Chukwuemeka. Gets the first touch and then can't quite get the second. Hacked away towards Aslani, who again will just see it forward. Really just more hope than expectation. Getting it high up the pitch, but he's sent back down quickly towards the left-hand side towards Svensson. Played across towards the right-hand side, takes the deflection on the way through. Rierson tries to get in towards the area and taking a swipe at it was Silva, but he just can't quite get the connection, and cleared away again towards Toure down this left-hand side. But there's no one in blue inside the Dortmund half, and he's going to have to pull it back in and retreat towards his own goalkeeper to just try and settle things down a touch in this game. They've got to show some maturity here, because Dortmund are showing plenty of signs of life and spirit in this second half. The manager Kovac asked for a reaction at half-time, and he's certainly getting that as well. Toure, who leads the league in sprints this season with just short of 700, can't quite stretch far enough down this near left-hand channel. There is going to be a brief stoppage in play, and it may be a tactical one from Hoffenheim. It's Berger, the man down inside the centre circle. He is on a yellow card as well from the first half, is Berger. The 25-year-old Swiss, who returns from a yellow card suspension after acquiring his 5th the game before last. He is strong when it comes to duels. It is a hot day as well in the middle of the park here at the Pre-Zero Arena, and he just overstretched really when he went to try and sweep the ball forward. There was no contact made. I'm not sure initially if the Bayern players thought he was trying to feign a little bit of contact, but Berger will likely come off, and it will be Hoffenheim who will blink first at the start of this second half. And both sides, who have a few players out each, are being forced to make a few changes themselves. So 8 minutes gone, and inside the second half is Hoffenheim, who still lead by a goal to nil. Those in blue putting on an excellent display inside the first half, and now they're having to do it at the other end as well. All hands to the pump in the opening 8 minutes of the second 45. And the Hoffenheim fans away to the right-hand side, making an absolute racket to try and keep their showing. Behind their team, and I can't quite see who's being ready down in front of us inside the dugout, but I'll let you know once that decision has been made. And Hoffenheim, who came off the back of that 2-2 draw with Augsburg, down inside the opening 14 minutes by 2 goals to nil, bringing it back to 2-2 at half-time. The other side of losing to Mainz as well. They led in that game by a goal to nil. They played a pretty friendly as well against lower division Elfsberg during the international break, and they certainly needed that after being beaten 5-0 away at RB Leipzig. So Berger will come off onto the near side, but I think he's looking to try and continue into this game, which is great to see. But Hoffenheim, their last 4 games, you'll certainly see that there are points to be picked. They've got Hamburg, 13th played Hamburg next on the road in a week's time before Stuttgart at home, Werder Bremen. After that, also here at the Pre-Zero Arena, and then Borussia Mönchengladbach, who's sitting 15th place in the Bundesliga. It's not been their year. They're normally in and around sort of that top 8-9 positions in the league, but just not to be this season. I think they've actually been 10th a few years in a row. They are down in 15th place and threatened at the moment by those relegation positions, with Werder Bremen jumping above them with their point currently against Hamburg. And it's an exciting afternoon of football, and we're back underway. It's a long throw coming in from Rearson from the near side, flicked on towards the edge of the area, back out to Chukwuemeka, who has a strike on it and can't quite get the right contact on it. Goes back out towards Rearson for a second opportunity, and a bite at the cherry. Goes all the way through though as it's flicked back on towards the far side. Knocked down by Svensson, but he loses out really well towards Abdullah, who's now going to break away down the right hand side. Cuts it back in towards the middle. There's an opportunity they can find the way through the gap. Toure was left all alone in the middle, but it's good recovery work from Dortmund, and a little bit too slow from the home side, just not been able to get themselves forward. Down the left hand side again from Svensson, tries to cut it across back in towards the area towards Bellingham, but it's met well once again by Hoffenheim, who clear the line towards the halfway line. Schlotterbeck wins the first 10, a little bit of head tennis inside the middle of the Hoffenheim box, and it leads to a free kick to Dortmund as Sabitza's just taken out in a good attacking position, and Werder Bremen actually lead by 2-1, and it's Stag who scored that second goal a moment ago, which has put them above Borussia Mönchengladbach, but the free kick here taken rather quickly by Dortmund, and the linesman's flag on this near side goes up for offside, and a rather wasted opportunity for the away side, who you mentioned came into that off the back of that defeat against Bayer Leverkusen. They avenged the defeat against Bayern Munich with 4 wins on the spin to continue to try and apply some pressure, but also securing their place within the Champions League spots more than anything after that 4-1 loss against Atalanta, that loss against Bayern Munich, and the 2 goals from Harry Kane, who has been absolutely stupendous this season. Dortmund, well, they've got Freiburg next, then Gladbach, then Frankfurt, before ending the season on the road at Werder Bremen. But in the Bundesliga this season, Harry Kane, 13 goals more than anybody else in the league. He's on 31. The next is Undav at Stuttgart. Guirassy has 13. Back on the bench this afternoon for the away side, who just slowed down their attacking intent. That sort of brief stop for the injury in the middle of the park has just allowed Hoffenheim to gather their thoughts for a moment and just to regroup. And now they have the ball on the right hand side with the throw from Kufal. He decides to go short on this occasion, and it's worked back towards Hajari. Continues to the cross towards Toure. Back in towards the middle, linked up nicely in towards Aslani, who retrieves the ball back with a lovely 1-2, goes down on the edge of the area, and rather than trying to get a good first touch, he just flops himself to the ground. The referee, Daniel Siebert, waves it away. And I do wonder if he'll pull out a yellow card for Aslani in a moment, because it looked like certain simulation. It's won back by Hoffenheim on the halfway line. They've still got the ball and could try and attack with Lempel. Lost it over the top, looking to the wards of Bergen on this occasion. He went off moments ago, and he's certainly going to go off now, and that's his hamstring completely gone on this occasion. He tried to play on after feeling it moments ago, and now he's going to have to go off, and that could well be his season over and done with. And it's not what you want to see if you're a Hoffenheim fan. He's played the majority of games this season, 25 league appearances for Wouterberger. He's only just come back from suspension. And Aslani Just looking to see if the referee has a word with him. But there will be a change for both sides. And Borussia Dortmund will also be bringing on Guirassy for Silva, who has been rather quiet in this game. He did put a lovely ball in towards Bayer in the first half when he missed with his head from 6 yards out. Guirassy is the man who will make his way onto the pitch. Pras will also come onto the pitch, as will Prommel, as Toure is the second substitute. Will make his way off, and Prommel will replace Berger in the middle of the park. So 2 changes then for Hoffenheim, 1 for Borussia Dortmund to get the game back underway inside their own area. And 13 goals to Guirassy's name in his 28 league appearances for the 29-year-old this season. 13 league goals. His fitness has been managed. He's back onto the bench for this game. Dortmund's top scorer would love to see himself add a few more. Separated either side by Luis Diaz and Michael Elise, the Englishman who plays for France. As an Englishman, I'll never forgive it. That whoever that person was that decided that he wasn't good enough at the time to play for England, ahead of some of the players that England had. As Leverkusen Augsburg still 1-1 after 2 early goals in that game. It's 29 minutes to go in this game, still 1-0. Hoffenheim lead. Wolfsburg with 26 minutes to play, lead 2-0 against against Union Berlin, and Werder Bremen lead 2-1 against Hamburg. And the linesman, who thought it was given as a goal kick, is actually given a corner kick on this near side to Hoffenheim, so a chance for them to put the ball into the box from the near side. The 6 inside the 6-yard box, moving out towards the far side, headed back across, and it's forced Kobel into a save and just palms it away, and out for another corner kick, this time over on the far side, just peeling off his man at the back post was Kabak. Got his header down, but straight in to the path of Kobel, who couldn't keep hold of it, but just gets it away. A good strong right hand just to push it out for another corner kick, but another bite at the cherry for the home side. And it's Kramaric who comes across to take the corner. Pras, the man waiting inside the penalty area. Prommel makes his way across as well. The German defensive midfielders plays it short towards Kufal, lost it towards the area, again in towards Kabak, but he just can't quite get his head the right way on it. A bit of a 50p on that occasion, and goes back towards Baumann on the halfway line, just waiting in earnest for the ball to come back. But 27 minutes to go, and the early spell of pressure that Dortmund had in this second half seems to have waned a touch, and has allowed the home side to get themselves back on the ball, and they consistently keep attacking over on that far right hand side. More than half of their attacks seem to be becoming down the side of Kufal, down that right hand channel. Hoffenheim, who started this game 6th in the league, currently occupying 5th and putting pressure on those sides in 3rd and 4th in those Champions League places. Dortmund have the ball with Bellingham, goes back though towards his own goalkeeper Kobel. Pras, who made his way on, is trying to stride forward. The 24-year-old Austrian's trying to apply a little bit of pressure. Creative midfielder, he's linked as well with some big clubs earlier this season, but stayed at Hoffenheim. He may be one to watch in the summer, depending where Hoffenheim finish at the end of this season. Lovely ball in from the right-hand side, it's cleared out well though, and met by Kramaric over on the far side. Has to come back towards the edge of his own penalty area and provide some support from Kufal, who again goes back towards his own goalkeeper, and Baumann just puts it down deep in towards the Dortmund half, in hope more than expectation than anything else. Dortmund trying to get themselves back on top of this contest once again. Is there another twist in the tail? Guirassy Goes down, but he feeds it well towards the left-hand side. Opportunity for Dortmund here. Good first tackle over the far side by Kabak. Still putting towards the area again and then hacked away by Hoffenheim. And it looked for love nor money like Dortmund were going to find themselves level on terms. It was Bayer again on the left-hand side, just slipped in. But a beautiful defensive tackle from Kabak to get himself behind us. A little bit of a shirt tug on Rierson. Manages to just push himself off. It was a ball in towards the area. But it's just headed off target by Bayer, who he's getting himself into the right positions, but just not getting himself the right opportunities. Garassi started it, he won the ball ever so well, fed it in towards Sabitzer, who just played in. Bayer on the left-hand side. He took too long to make his decision. And across came Kabak with the sliding challenge. And with 25 minutes to play, it's Hoffenheim living dangerously at the moment. Dortmund doing all of the attacking. Both sides still have 3 players left to bring on the bench for Hoffenheim. You've got Luca Philipp, the backup goalkeeper. You've got Hranak, who's got a goal to his name this season. The Czech centre-back played 26 times. Tends to start games, but he's dropped out of the starting 11 on this occasion. Akpo Guba, Dama, Bebu, Cole Campbell, the 20-year-old American, and Nusted, the young German as well for Hoffenheim. For Dortmund, well, their bench has been limited to players that haven't really played this season. 4 players on the bench with just 4 appearances between them. Meyer in goal, none this season. Couto with 15. Mane just 2 to his name, the young Italian defender, another returning option for them. Ozcan also on the bench, a 27-year-old Turk, a nice rotation squad option that they've got. Julian Brandt back into the side after a slight injury to his name as well. Matthias Albert with no appearances to his name this season, and 2 just for Ian Acho, the young 19-year-old Portuguese forward, as well as Bellingham gives away a free kick down the left-hand side. Once again, Dortmund now just struggling to apply enough pressure down the flanks on this Hoffenheim defence, which is standing up ever so well. And under plenty of pressure at the start of this second half, they just kept on grinding out those results. And we mentioned earlier that Leicester City could well be finding themselves in the 3rd division of English football, where West Brom are beating Preston, and that means the gap between them is now 8 points, with 3 games to go, which will all but secure Leicester as a 3rd division side. But West Brom could find themselves with a 6-point deduction. We might go on to next season, regardless of what league they're in. Sheffield Wednesday, who were on -4 in the Championship this season, just gathered just 14 points. It's the worst anyone has ever done in the English Football League. They're going to get another 15 points next season, and fans seem to think they're harshly done by. In a personal opinion, as if they enjoyed the benefit of overspending. The fans, sadly, have to reap what the club sows, and that is the disappointment of when you get found out. In the Bundesliga 2, Arminia Bielefeld drew 1-1 earlier on with Nuremberg. Dynamo Dresden beat Bochum 2-0 at home, and Magdeburg beat Fortuna Dusseldorf as well by 2-0. And the only other game in that division, Hanover against Paderborn, is at 8:30 this evening in that division. There's another long ball, goes down the right-hand side, this time from Bellingham, but just goes out for a throw-in. And it's still everything to play for in the 2nd division of German football. Schalke leading the pile by a single point ahead of Paderborn. And then 2 points behind them is Elfsberg, who's played a game more, and 2 points behind them, Hanover, on 53 points. 5 points separate the top 4, with just 4 and 5 games to go, all to play for. Top 2 promoted, 3rd place go into that promotion playoff, with the side. That finished third bottom in the Bundesliga, and as it stands, that side is St. Pauli. Wolfsburg putting a bit of pressure on them behind them at the moment, just sitting just a point behind them as the table stands at the moment. As they continue to lead by 2-0 as Riesen tries to get down the right-hand side. An excellent tackle, though, goes in. It's another wonderful block, this time from the substitute from Promel, who's feeling the worst of that challenge as well. And Lizic. Hoffenheim manager just looking on with a little bit of stress and frustration. There's going to be another long throw, this time by Riesen. Sends it towards the edge of the 6-yard box. Comes in towards Guirassy. Can't quite bring it down to his feet. They just wouldn't settle nicely for him, and it's just hacked away towards the left-hand side. Dortmund will pick up the ball once again with Svensson. He's got 3 Hoffenheim plays for company, so he brings it back towards the edge of the centre circle. Moved across then towards the right-hand side, and Sabitzer, who floats on towards the edge of the box, slips as he does so. It's knocked down in towards Guirassy. This time it does fall to his feet, but he just can't quite work it in towards Anton very well. Bellingham also trying to scrap for it on the edge of the area, and Hoffenheim will just put their foot through it and out into touch on this near side inside the Dortmund half, and Dortmund will react as well and make further changes. And Sabitzer will make his way off, as will Svensson. Julian Brandt will come on for Svensson. And Inacio makes his way on for Sabitzer. The 19-year-old Portuguese youngster comes on for his 3rd appearance of the season. Julian Brandt played near enough every game of this campaign. It's his 29th game of the season for the 29-year-old German. 7 goals, 9 assists to his name. A big call for him to be on the bench. He's the creative heartbeat of this side, but they've now got their 2 big men on the pitch in Brandt and Guirassy. Dortmund, as they try and find an equaliser late on in this game. They showed more attacking intent in this game than they did against Bayer Leverkusen last week, but it's still showing the same result on the scoreboard as it did that day as well, which was 1-0. As Hoffenheim keeping themselves in front. Lapel just slips on top of the ball deep inside the Dortmund half, and the referee happy that there was nothing in it from the Dortmund back line, and away they'll come with the ball once again as they start punching inside the Hoffenheim half. Flicked in towards Brandt, can't quite get his control on it first time, but it's won nicely again on this near side by Anton. Space opens up for Riesen. Looks to try and cross the ball into the box as he's done time and time again this season. Managed to wriggle free, work it towards the byline, gets the cross in, clear back out towards this near side. Anton tries to get himself ahead of Abdullahu, but his cross in the area is met really well by Kabak. Only as far as Brandt again in the middle of the park. Schlotterbeck looks to go over the top and all the way out for a goal kick, and it's a poor decision really from the German centre half and international. There's been a recent debate over his release clause. He reads the game really well, but he just couldn't quite work the right pass over towards the far side, and it will allow a breather for those in blue, who have been under plenty of pressure since half time, but managing it ever so well. Conceded 43 goals, more than anybody else inside the top 6. Hoffenheim. Dortmund only conceded 3 more than Bayern Munich, top of the pile. Granted, they've scored 45 goals less. Bayern Munich breaking that goal scoring record with 105 goals at the top of the table. With 5 games to go, they could still break the 100-point mark. Don't forgive me, the 90-point mark would make sense if I understood NAFs. With a lovely ball down towards Riesen on the right-hand side. Follows it through in towards the substitute Inacio. Can't quite get hold of it though, and he just struggles out and goes out for a goal kick. And Hoffenheim doing everything right at this stage of the game. The fans will have one eye on the game over it by Leverkusen. Still remains 1-1 with 13 minutes to play. And as it stands, Hoffenheim, with 15 minutes to go here, are enjoying a fruitful afternoon. They'll want to end their poor run. The form that they've had over recently, haven't won in their last 5, they've won just 1 in their last 7 games. Have the host this afternoon, they had a wonderful run. Before that poor run, they beat Freiburg. We forget about the Bayern Munich battering of 5-1. They won 5 in a row. Before that defeat to Bayern, they went into that game with plenty of confidence. They beat Leverkusen, Frankfurt and Union Berlin in the run as well. But it's Dortmund 2 they're up against this afternoon, and it's Dortmund 2 trying to get it forward, but it's everybody and all hands on deck for Hoffenheim, who are parking the bus now as this game gets late on. Just kind of put some brave defending. It's almost slipped in towards Bellingham going forward, but he just couldn't quite get his toe on the end of it and cleared nicely in towards Baumann. Second half kicked off across Europe as well for those 3-4 o'clock games, depending on where you are in the world and your current time zone. But here it's just gone 10 past 5 local time. And it's Hoffenheim leading by a goal to nil. Nice little turn in the middle by Prass. Tries to work it forward in towards Promel. Can't quite wriggle free. And gets it forward, and he's intercepted nicely by Sensabani. And then the free kick goes Dortmund's way, and the yellow card will come out as well. And Bensabani just got himself ahead of his man. And Prass was cut across, frustrated with his initial pass that gave the ball away. And he's done just about enough to warrant a yellow card there from Daniel Siebert, who has kept his cards in his pocket, which is always good to see, but he's given another penalty this season. Given plenty of those as well. Down the right-hand side with Rierson once again. This time can't quite get his cross right, and it's just picked up by the first man. But an equally poor clearance out is intercepted by Antop. Back down towards Rierson, but gets his feet all in a muddle and just allows Prass to come across with a bit of support from Hadjari and out for a throw. He tries to look to take it quickly, feeds it towards the right corner of the area. Dortmund with just 12 minutes to go in this game. It was Daniel Siebert's 5th penalty that he's given in his 14th Bundesliga appearance this season as a referee. The cross comes in low towards the right-hand side, but it's again comfortable for Baumann, and he cradles it like a mother cradles a newborn child and keeps hold of it to try and slow things down. And Daniel Siebert, the referee, one of the big names of the referees in the Champions League. He's eight appearances as a referee this season in Europe's Premier competition. He did give 2 penalties in the game between Mainz and Wolfsburg back in January, so maybe he was feeling a little bit left out. It's been a bit of time since he has given a penalty in the Bundesliga, but he didn't make it a quick decision. VAR intercepted while Sule was down receiving treatment inside the first half. He slipped as Kramaric took his shot. It was rather unfortunate really from Sule, but as it stands, it's that slip that led to a penalty and the handball that came with it that means Hoffenheim are leaving. And Kufal wins a throw on the far right hand side. He gives a little wry smile to his teammates as well over on that far side, and they're really showing a bit of gall and resilience here. Hoffenheim. Lempel has asked whether he's going to be changed from the far side. I think he's looking absolutely shattered on the far side of the pitch. He's not had the best of games, Lempel. He's been in and around the action a little bit, but apart from the opening moments or so, he's just been running his socks off just to try and apply the pressure. He hasn't been able to do too much in Ligue 1. Lorient and Marseille also kicking off 10 minutes ago at the top of the hour. They're 0-0. Still 1-0 here to Hoffenheim with 10.5 minutes to go in this game, and it's Hoffenheim trying to break themselves forward in towards Aslani. Links up nicely towards the left-hand side towards Pramel. Keeps it going in towards Pras, trying to stretch his legs forward. Couple just sitting off. One of them is Anton, just sitting off and allowing Hoffenheim to bring it forward, but now he's going to start and applying a bit more of the press on Pramel, who brings it back towards Abdullahu. 10 yards inside the Dortmund half on this near side of the pitch. Back in towards Pras. Links up towards the edge of the area. Option to try and shoot maybe from Kramaric, decides against it. Kufal does try and go for goal from a rather ambitious angle, level with the edge of the penalty area over on the far side of the box, and it's blocked and out for a throw-in, but it does slow things down. Bayer was the man to get himself back. In the other games across the division, it's still as you were, with Leverkusen Augsburg 1-1, Wolfsburg 2-0 on the road against Union Berlin, and Werder Bremen still leading against Hamburg by 2-1 as well. Kufal with the throw, looks to try and find Kabak. This time he can't quite get the header onto it. It's just going to be hacked away by Brandt towards the halfway line in towards Hajari. Bounces just in front of it, which allows a little bit of pressure from Garassi, so they'll work it all the way back towards their goalkeeper. And Hoffenheim have got Hamburg on the road next, and 2 more home games against Stuttgart and Bremen. After that, would love to go in with a lead. It flicked in towards Aslani, looked to be offside, but the referee's still not allowed the game to, the linesman still allowing the game to continue, and now he does put his flag up, and Aslani looked to be about 5-6 yards offside behind the back line. And we see it in the game these days that officials tend to wait to make decisions to see what happens, which is all well and good, but when it is a clear decision like that, you just want a linesman and a referee to make the obvious call. Dortmund themselves, Freiburg at home next, before Gladbach, and then another big tie against Frankfurt on their home soil. Their season just starting to wind down is Dortmund. They won't want it to go out with a whimper, and they won't want to allow other sides to try and catch them up. They've got an 8-point gap. A couple of defeats and you never know. And Lempel is now going to make his way off. He asked for it a moment ago. And Christian Ulzes kindly obliges. And coming on in his place is Max Nordstedt, the 20-year-old German. 19 appearances this season, 2 goals to his name. Tends to come on as a late-in pack sub, and he's going to come on and just try and help the side defend the final 8 minutes or so. Given away though in towards him, but the referee gives a free kick and just pulls it back 10 yards. Then inside the Hoffenheim half, 5 yards off the far touchline. There's a chance for Dortmund to get themselves forward and to apply some pressure, but instead they're going to play it short. And this modern day sort of football of having to try and pass it around rather than just lumping it forward when time is of the essence, it does bug me. But can Dortmund make me eat my words? It's with Rierson just hugging this near side touchline. Links up nicely down the right hand side with the substitute Inacio. Tries to find him back in towards Rierson, but it goes through towards Baumann, and Dortmund wasting good opportunities from free kicks just to get the ball pumped in. And now there's an opportunity for Hoffenheim down the left hand side, and it's a substitute who just skips past him in Nordstedt. And the referee will bring out the book for Schlottenbeck, who just takes the feet of the substitute Nordstedt. He's only been on a moment. He picked up the ball on his left, he shimmied it on to his right. He beat the man all ends up, and a professional tackle more than anything from Schlotterbeck. He knew that Nordstedt was going to be in behind. He's got plenty of plenty of pace. He's also got fresh legs as well, as Union Berlin have pulled one back against Wolfsburg with 4 minutes plus stoppage time to go in that game there. Pressure is now on Wolfsburg in that contest, but pressure on Dortmund as well, as a free kick's taken short down the left hand side, trying to race it in towards the area and trying to play it across the box again was Kramaric down the left hand side, but the referee gives a free kick inside the area. for Guirassy, who just goes down holding his head. With just over 5 minutes to play, it's still Hoffenheim 1, Dortmund 0. With nothing too much to shout about in this second half. There's been plenty of attacking by both sides. And both keepers have remained relatively unscathed and not had to pull out too many big saves when it matters. And Guirassy remains down inside the box. He won the header and cleared it out of danger. The Hoffenheim man came straight through him, and Kovac is not the first time in this game remonstrating his frustrations with the fourth official down in front of us. There was an elbow into the back of Guirassy. I think that's maybe a rather harsh statement that he might be making there. I think Kabak came in wanting to challenge for the ball. And Guirassy just did ever so well to get there ahead of him and to clear it out. But he is back to his feet once again. We've got less than 5 minutes then to play. There'll be some time added on again. There was 6 added on at the end of the first half. We'll see how much will be added in a couple of minutes' time at the end of this second half between these two sides. It's tamed off a little bit over the last 5 minutes or so, with a little bit too many stoppages. As a free kick goes this time Hoffenheim's way on the halfway line. It was Promel who won it, but the referee just going to slow the game down as a Dortmund man. Iheanacho, who's been all over the park since coming on, just gets back to his feet. The referee seeing an unfair advantage there. Back to his feet he comes. And we're back underway with 4 minutes to play. Can Dortmund find a late equaliser? Can they put a dent in Hoffenheim's Champions League ambitions? Throw in from Guirassy. Takes it quickly before Riesen can bring the long throw. Goes towards Anton. Tries to swing it towards the left-hand side. It's brought back in towards Anton, who's about 15 yards further infield. Brings it in towards Riesen, just hugging this touchline. Back again towards Anton, who will just swing it across now towards the left-hand side. With Benson Barney. Towards the edge of the area, towards Guirassy. Tries to take a strike, and he's the equaliser. And Hoffenheim hearts are broken at the end of the game. And it's the man who continues to score, coming off the bench. His 14th league goal of the season. It's a beauty of a snapshot on the edge of the box. From the throw-in, on the near side, taken quickly. Anton involved in absolutely everything there. Sent towards the left-hand side, played beautifully then in towards Guirassy, just on the edge of the area. He took one turn, brought it on to his right, opened up the space and sent it into the bottom right-hand corner, a Bauman's goal. And hearts are being broken here in Hoffenheim. They thought they were going challenging those Champions League places, but Dortmund are saying not on their watch. And despite having a depleted squad, they've applied the pressure in this second half. As Hoffenheim have a swing of the boots on the edge of the area, but out for a goal kick with 2 minutes to go. And Dortmund, they have their own ambitions to keep themselves still in second place in the league. But Guirassy off the bench to restore parity in this game. They've applied the pressure continuously in this second 45, and they finally got their just desserts. It was Benson Barney, one substitute, linking up with Guirassy, another. And Guirassy tucks it home from the edge of the area, and there's still time for another goal as well. We'll have plenty of time added on. It's 1-1 here between Hoffenheim and Dortmund. It's Hoffenheim with the ball inside the Dortmund box, away to the left-hand side, but the linesman's flag goes up over on the far side. That will just draw down a few seconds, but both sides are wanting to get on with this game now as quickly as possible. They can sense the 3 points. Hoffenheim have seen it disappear. Leverkusen go back into that 5th spot. Hoffenheim remain in 6th place, 10 points ahead of Frankfurt with 5 games to go. They're very likely, if not certain, they're going to be in Europe. But this will be a 6th game without a win. in all competitions. 5 without a win in the league for Hoffenheim. If they can't pull out another goal here to restore themselves in front. But they were living dangerously in this second half. Dortmund have a throw in deep inside their own half. Got 30 seconds to go. Plus time added on. Daniel Siebert has indicated, I think there'll be around about 5 minutes added on, unless I am mistaken from the various gestures that we are seeing in front of us. I'll let you know how wrong I am in a few moments, but Siebert just does it well enough to get out of the way of the ball. Hoffenheim have it on the halfway line. Plenty of pressure though from 3 Dortmund players, but it does mean there's space in behind if Hoffenheim can now shift it towards the right hand side. Tries to feed it in from Slani, looking for Nordstedt, but good defensive work from the last Dortmund defender there in Schlotterbeck, just to close down the angle. And they'll move it across towards the left-hand side and try to attack themselves. Feeding it in towards Brandt. Space just opens up in then again towards Bayer, but he can't quite get his cross. Been out for a throw-in over on the far side. We're into stoppage time here, and it's 6 minutes added on. I wasn't too far wrong. Same as the first half, and Bayer will come across to take it with 30 seconds gone in stoppage time here. Hoffenheim fans trying to cheer on their side from behind the goal. It's played in towards Bellingham, takes it down onto his knee, pulls it back out towards Rierson, closed down quickly by 2, ships it out towards the right hand side and towards Inacio. Space opens up, puts a cross in towards the far side of the box, one touch and a shot goes in, and it's just put around the post by Baumann, and the pressure continues from Dortmund here. It was a wonderful ball from Inacio towards the edge of the area, and it was one touch and a strike this time from Bayer. He's had a few opportunities in this game, has Bayer. And Baumann just didn't know really where he was on his goal line and just puts it around his post and out for a corner kick. And with 5 minutes to play of stoppage time, it's Dortmund who are looking like they're going to turn this game on its head late on. Corner from the far side from Rierson. Played in towards Guirassy, but there's Baumann to punch it away, but the referee is actually going to stop playing. The corner kick will be taken again. So pressure not over yet for this Hoffenheim defence. Kufal trying to show his protestations that the ball was played already, but the referee had blown his whistle to have a word with a couple of players inside the boxes. A lot of pushing and shoving going on inside the 6-yard box with 6 Dortmund players, 8 Hoffenheim players, all in that short space. Goes towards the far side of the corner kick. Baumann is there, jumps there really well ahead of Benson Barney coming in. It's still not cleared yet though, as Pras just brings it back towards Kabak, who does get his foot through it down this near side, and the referee says it's already, or the linesman says it's already gone out of play. It's Dortmund who will have the throw in halfway inside the Hoffenheim half. 3.5 minutes to go. Dortmund bring it back inside their own half, now inside the centre circle. Move back towards the right hand side where they spent the majority of their time in this game, especially in this half. Both sides love to attack down the right hand side. Rierson brings it towards the edge of the centre circle, across towards Benson Barney. Got the assist moments ago from Guirassy. Floated in towards the edge of the area, but it's blocked by Kufal really well, and out for a throw in just to slow the time down a little bit. Just over 3 minutes to go in stoppage time. We're halfway through the allotted time added on. Throw in goes down the channel looking for Guirassy, who just tried to flick it in, looking towards Bayer, making the run in towards the centre of the box, and then it's cleared out and given away, and now Hoffenheim could try and counter-attack down the left-hand side with Pras. He's got a bit of support as well from Nordstedt, tries to float it across towards the far side of the box, looking for the run of Promel with those fresh legs, but it just skips past him, and good defensive effort from Anton to clear the ball. Picked back up by Kabak. Newcastle have equalised against Bournemouth 1-1 in that game. Back out towards Abdullahu. Feeds it in towards Pras on the left-hand side. Left-footed floats one in towards the area, and then the Dortmund man goes down. A little high boot as it goes against Nordstedt. And as he lifted his foot up, I think he knew it was going a bit too high as he tried to bring the ball down. And Bayer, who's been all over the pitch in this game, just takes a boot into the chest and wins the free kick for his side with just over 2 minutes to go. Newcastle had a goal scored a moment ago, ruled out. They have now scored it again with Osula. The man levelling it up against Bournemouth, but with just short of 2 minutes to play in stoppage time. The game winding itself down. Both sides giving it their all. Both sides trying to win the game. The fixtures are running out. For Dortmund, the Champions League certainly looks to await themselves now. It will await themselves unless Leverkusen can find themselves a winner, and they won't find themselves a winner as they're losing at home to Augsburg by 2-1. I'll bring you that score in a moment. It puts them on the same point as Hoffenheim, but their goal difference is what rules it, and the referee is going to come across to the VAR monitor as well. It was Riesen, the man they're looking at here for a potential handball inside the box. It was a cross from Pras, and VAR has seen what nobody else has seen. It looked like a clear cross inside the box. And Riesen, his hand is out inside the area, and in the 96th minute here, we could have a second penalty for Hoffenheim. And with Leverkusen losing late on, it could bring it back into their favour in this league race for Champions League football. Daniel Siebert away at the monitor for the second time in this game. The 6 minutes of added time are up. He's giving his decision to the crowd. And he's given the penalty. And it's another penalty to Hoffenheim in this game. He's given two in an earlier game between Mainz earlier on in the season as Daniel Siebert. But in the 96th minute, a Riesen handball, the second handball of the game. Nobody saw it on the pitch. The VAR has picked it out. Werder Bremen lead 3-1 against Hamburg. Leverkusen losing at home 2-1 to Augsburg. But it's another penalty, and Hoffenheim decisive this moment in their season. It's the same duo against each other. Kramaric against Kobel. It will be the last kick of the game, you would have thought. It has huge implications in the Champions League race. It's Kramaric against Kobel. The referee blows his whistle. Kramaric takes his time. Big puff at the chest. Right-footed, steps up, scores for Hoffenheim, and they win it in the last seconds of the game. And out of absolutely nowhere, under plenty of pressure up at the other end, a silly hand in the air from Riesen gives Hoffenheim hope, and it gives them Champions League ambitions once again. And in the 98th minute of this contest, Hoffenheim lead against Dortmund by 2-1. And Kramaric, who'd scored 10 goals before the game, add another 2 to his tally. The Croatian talisman, twice from the spot, goes unhindered. And it's Hoffenheim 2, Borussia Dortmund 1. And Dortmund, who have plenty of injuries to their name, put in a quality showing in this second half. Look, they're more likely to win it as well. And then the one time the substitute Pras put a ball into the box, the hand was stuck out by Riesen. He's frustrated, went into the referee's book by protesting the decision as well. But on replay, the referee, Daniel Siebert, and his VAR have got it absolutely spot on once again. And Hoffenheim fans are in absolutely delirium in the stands. Leverkusen have lost to Augsburg by 2-1. A 97th minute penalty by Rieder in that game as well puts Hoffenheim back into 5th place. Dortmund still going here. They're trying to get themselves forward. We're into the 9th minute of added time. There's going to be a free kick going Dortmund's way as well. 15 yards off the edge of the penalty area. The referee was stopping the game for a moment. The Dortmund man is down, but Hoffenheim, it's all going right for them now. They're above Leverkusen as it stands in the table, ahead of them by 2 points. 2 late goals that have had a 3-point swing in that race for the Champions League places. They're 2 points behind RB Leipzig and Stuttgart. Those sides have a game in hand, and Hoffenheim still have to play Stuttgart as well. On the edge of the area for Dortmund, they're going to win a free kick right on the edge of the box, right in the middle of the D. Is there another swing and twist in this tail? The referee brings out his yellow card, and it's all going off here right at the end. We're into the 100th minute of this contest. Ajari went in with the challenge. He's got into the referee's book. I don't even think he's seen that he's got into the referee's book. But he went down under a bit of pressure from Garassi as well. Then in towards Bayer. The tackle then came in, just pulled him back, and Bayer went down rather delicately more than anything. But it is a wonderful opportunity as Daniel Siebert tried to control this game late on. Puts the Hoffenheim manager Christian Ilzer into his book as well. Is there a very, very late twist? There's hands on heads in the Hoffenheim, and before this free kick's even been lined up, there's 5 going to be put in the wall. Baumann tries to get his wall ready. The referee still just making a note of the 3 or 4 players he's just put into his book. Christian Ilzer was one of them. Jari, I think, was another. Kramaric may have been a third. But right in, just inside the D, bang in the middle of the goal. They couldn't ask for a better angle to have a shot at Baumann here. Leverkusen fans will be watching on if this goes in. The goalkeeper, Kubel, is up as well, talking about the wall, trying to help those gathered around the ball to give them some options. Dortmund are staring back-to-back defeats in the face for the first time since they lost to Bayern Munich and Atalanta a couple of weeks ago. Brasser's the man on the ground behind the ball. There's 5 stood in the wall itself. There's 2 in front of it from Dortmund. There's 2 to the left-hand side. Everybody is around this moment. All 22 players are inside the box or just outside. Only the 3 outside of the goalkeeper, Brandt and Schlotterbeck. It's going to be Brandt, right-footed, over the wall, and it's out of play. And the referee blows for the goal kick. I don't think he's blown for the final whistle just yet in this game. I thought he was going to blow for the final whistle just after that. But if there's someone going to step up, Brandt was the moment. He got it over the wall, but just a foot or so too high. He needed to be a little bit further back. It didn't have the power or the accuracy. It wasn't a bad attempt. We're into the 103rd minute of this game. German football doesn't stop there either. Another game kicking off in an hour's time. Frankfurt against RB Leipzig, which both of these 2 sides will look on. But there is the final whistle. It's Hoffenheim's afternoon on home soil. They return to winning ways after 4 without a win. They cement themselves as challengers in the Champions League, and they do it against the Borussia Dortmund side that have been challenging Bayern Munich all season. It will guarantee that Bayern Munich will win the Bundesliga as well. They know mathematically that it's pretty much done and dusted with a 48 goal difference at the top of the table, but 1 point for them will see them champions of Germany once again. For Borussia Dortmund, well, they might still look over their shoulder depending how Leipzig and Stuttgart get on in their fixtures, but for Hoffenheim it's been a perfect afternoon. They've leaped above Bayer Leverkusen, who lost at home to Augsburg in a result that you would have expected Leverkusen to win, especially after beating Dortmund last week. But against a depleted Dortmund side, Hoffenheim have done the job, and it started well for them as well, trying to find an immediate goal. Kramaric found himself behind the Dortmund defence with 15 seconds after kick-off, but good recovery work from the Dortmund defence cleared the effort off the line. Dortmund then looked to attack, with Bayer having the best opportunities, putting a silver cross over the bar from 6 yards out. But 5 minutes before the end of the half, Kramaric again found himself driving at the defence from the right, pulled it back onto his left, and as he unleashed his shot, Soulé slipped, the ball bouncing off his elbow, and the referee, thanks to VAR, pointing to the spot. But to make matters worse for him, Soulé went off injured in the process, and Kramaric took the spot kick home into the bottom left-hand corner to give the hosts a 1-0 half-time lead. The second half looked all Borussia Dortmund. Hoffenheim tried to counter them up the other end, and then 2 minutes before the end of the game, a lovely ball by Benson Barney in towards Guirassy, who was confident and cool, took it onto his right-hand side, just pushed it to open up the angle and drilled it into the bottom right-hand corner of Bormann's goal. But we said it looked like it was going to... There was another goal in the game, and there was, and surprise, surprise, it thought it was Dortmund. It was Hoffenheim up the other end. It was Prass who tried to whip a ball in towards the box. Riasson had his hand too far out in front of him. Everybody missed it on the pitch. There was no calls from anybody on the pitch, but VAR, they pulled up Daniel Siebert, the referee, who looked at the monitor and pointed to the spot for the second time in the game. Up stepped Kramaric, the same result, sending the keeper the wrong way this time to give Hoffenheim a very, very late win. They go fifth in the table, Dortmund stays second. Here at Hoffenheim, it's finished Hoffenheim 2, Dortmund 1. Good night.